highlighted the tedious procedures that currently revolve around climate financing, and the youth are calling for simplified climate finance so that their activities can be supported and also they scale up their activities.
This policymakers to equally think of young people, especially when we are shaping up how we are going to plan for how climate finance is going to look like in the next 1 year, in the next 2 years. And we are so much glad of the We World organization that is putting up several organizations to come together to talk about issues that pertains them, what they are working on from the different grassroots communities. Thank you.
We are here to endorse and commit ourselves as a party. We have a party that is anchored on environmental policies and the environmental agenda. Ours is a clarion call that everyone brings on board.
40% of the Kenyan population has access to internet. That means we can be able to pass information through digital platforms and change behavior, champion development, and build solidarity towards climate justice. Thank you.
We are here to endorse the Youth Green Manifesto. This manifesto aims at reducing the inequalities that exist in our society. We are championing for climate actions. We are championing for inclusion, where we are bringing on board people with disabilities, youth and women, because we know the energy of the youth must be catered for in order to prosper as a nation. Inspired by the apostolic social teaching on stewardship and human dignity, this manifesto aims at empowering people from all divides in society to reach to the top. Thank you very much.
We are able to support youths in implementing climate initiatives. So for this manifesto, which is leaning on 3 pillars, the major ones of the youths we are here to support, including dissemination, and the targeted community, the targeted groups, the targeted stakeholders, we are making clerical call that let us all come out so that we can be able to pull together in supporting our country, supporting climate actions, and ensuring that our environment is free and safe for the future generation. We thank all the youth who are committed. We thank all the community-based and civil society organizations who are committed in this just transformation in green thinking. Thank you very much.
Tunaanzisha mpango kamili ya kutengeneza mpango ambayo itahusisha wananchi katika management ya wildlife, na sio management peke yake, sharing of benefits that come from conservation. Ile mapato kutokana na wanyama wa pori, kutoka utalii, kutoka conservancies, lazima pia wananchi wafaidike na hiyo mapato inatoka pale, na ndio tumeweka mpango kama serikali ya kwamba going forward, so that we make conservation sustainable, we must put the people at the center of conservation, especially in terms of benefits.
Well, I've been dealing with birds of prey so long that I remember the days where most of the power poles were made of wood and big ceramic insulators. Electrocution did occur, but very, very small amounts. I have at my place, for example, an auger buzzard that was electrocuted 40 years ago. He's still with us. He's got a missing wing. But these days, we're getting so many birds coming into our rehab centers, both at Naivasha and here on Soisambu, which have been electrocuted, giving you a good indication of just what percentage of birds are being electrocuted. We have other things like poisoning, which we've been managed to address very maturely with national programs trying to stop poisoning. That's been very successful. Now the drive is to try to stop or mitigate electrocutions. But as a rehab center, when we get birds who are coming in from, say, persecution, being hit by cars, hitting pane glass windows, being poisoned, electrocution now is the leading cause of mortalities. And the great thing about it is one of the few things that you can fix, that you can stop. It is important to realize that this is not an issue just facing Kenya. This is an issue that's facing the rest of the world. In the American Midwest, for example, back in the 50s, everybody realized it to be a major issue. And they fixed the issue. Now collision is now the leading cause of mortality, not electrocution. They fixed it by making the poles good in the first place, and so that their configuration is unable to electrocute birds. Now one of the biggest areas of interest is in Mongolia, China, where you have unbelievable flat plateaus, thousands of square kilometers, and all the birds of prey only have power lines to sit on. And that has caused a massive mortality, but that's being addressed by a number of organizations, chief of which is the Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Raptor Conservation Fund. It's retrofitted about 27,000 poles, and they can do it literally within a matter of months. Well, this project actually is developed quite rapidly. We were very aware of this as an issue some 27 years ago, but just recently, working with CADAS Enterprises and KPLC, a union has been made whereby identify the problem, identify the solutions, and are going ahead. Often there's a lot of delay between like implementation. So, you know, the concept is known, it's out there, and this is a wonderful time right now is to see things working, whereby I feel personally very euphoric about it. We are going to be fixing the problem. And from a conservation point of view, I believe that Kenya will be able to shine beyond all the other countries within the sub-region, and that we'll be able to export what we're doing here to neighboring countries like Uganda, Tanzania, and elsewhere. It's an enormously important day. As I told you, I'm euphoric about it. It means that we don't have to be up every night looking after birds who are literally dying, and we can fix the problem 100%. There's loads of other problems, as you said, facing birds of prey, but once this one is done, it will be, I mean, also it's fantastic for tourism. We were just looking at a martial eagle here. That's one of the biggest birds of prey on Earth. Female martial eagles will kill lion cubs. We've got lions right behind us. They're actually in danger of the eagles. And these are magnificent animals that we stand to lose. And now by fixing this problem, we can rest assured that they would be, you know, fine. These are the insulation covers by CADAS. And it's quite simple, really. That's where the insulator goes in. That's where the wires go. So it goes, clips on top. And this is the extension arm, where I think you can just clip it in. And so that means it goes either side. So a bird of prey with big wings, as it comes in, will not make direct contact between phase to phase or phase to earth. So the circuit is stopped by these insulators. It's very simple, but it works very well. These products, I think, they'll last for up to about 50 years. Okay. These are made out of special kinds of plastic that really don't get affected by UV, and they don't break down in the sunlight. And they can take up to 33,000 volts of electricity. They insulate against that.
Informative indeed, and I believe you've been able to take notes and be able to capture various things that are key, particularly in the journey of safeguarding our environment. The story continues, but you take a fast break. In a moment, we'll be coming back, of course, with a more informative piece on the other side. See you in a moment. Welcome back to Ayiecho. Of course, it's at this juncture that I invite you to also chime in the conversation through our social media handles at KUTV_Kenya. And of course, you can reach out to me at _Emmanuel Kutosi. It is very key for this conversation to continue, and you are a very sentimental part of it. We continue in our second bit of Earth Check.
Thank you. My name is Engineer Henry Pwani. I work with the Institute of Energy Studies and Research. ISR is an affiliate of KPLC, and at ISR we carry out research and also piloting of various solutions for energy sector, and mainly focus on KPLC. So our part is to carry out research, identify solutions that are to address the challenges Kenya Power is facing, like what we are doing here today. One of the challenges KPLC has been facing is interruptions of power supply. We are in business, so we sell energy. And one of the things that we want to ensure is to maximize or optimize on availability of our network. So outages is a negative to our business. So what we have been looking at is a solution that can be able to minimize these outages. One of the causes of outages are animals, and especially birds. And in the Soisambu Conservancy, where our lines pass, we've had many interruptions that are caused by birds. So what we're doing here today is implementing a pilot project that seeks to install insulators on our infrastructure that is seeking to minimize this electrocution of birds. Additionally, we are required by legal instruments to ensure that we design and maintain our power lines to ensure safety to environment. So part of what we are doing is also to ensure that there are no electrocution in line with the requirements of the Energy Act 2019. Yeah, this is happening under ISR. ISR exists to act on behalf of KPLC to identify solutions. So in the process of our seeking for solutions, we have entered into collaboration with CADAS Enterprise, which is a US company. So KPLC has signed a formal collaboration and partnership with CADAS, and through that we are getting support from CADAS to intervene in terms of minimizing birds electrocution in Soisambu. And not just here, this is a pilot. We'll be expanding to other areas, including Mombasa and other parts of the country. It's not just targeting the birds. Some few years ago, we had electrocution of animals like giraffes in Soisambu. So these equipments will still protect or ensure safety of other animals, which either walk on the ground or fly, as birds do. Yeah, mainly what causes electrocution are birds which perch on the pin insulators. As you can see on our poles, we have pin insulators that exposes our conductors. So when birds come and perch on these points and they breach clearance between two lines, that's what causes electrocution. So what we are doing is, because these are common points of perching of birds, we're installing these insulators at those points of perching. These are insulators. Insulators are poor conductors, so it allows the birds to perch even without any harm on them. So basically that is it, insulation against flow of current through the birds, and any bird that is perching there is safe. We have experts who have carried out research, and the information that we are getting from them is that the number is high. In fact, one of the experts who has been with us this morning has been able to share with us in terms of what has happened in the last 2 months, that there are at least 5 birds that have been electrocuted within the ranch. So with that statistics, and if we carry out extrapolation, then you can see that the numbers are quite high. And mostly the birds that are being electrocuted are those which are moving from other places to this ranch because of attraction. Of course, there's a lot of animals here. And so those birds, they come in and they don't get out. So the research is still ongoing, and as we do these interventions, I think that those statistics will help us to confirm that our interventions are working. Yes, in the collaboration and partnership, yes, there's an element of capacity building. As it is, our engineers are involved in the design, maintenance, and all the process that involves development and also cooperation of our power lines. So we want to impart knowledge so that they can be able to know how do we design power lines in a way that ensures animal safety. When those who are doing maintenance, how do we maintain to ensure that animals are safety? So the entire areas of power operation, from design, construction to operation, we want to see that we give them knowledge. So we are starting. We've already developed a curriculum. We are starting training the next 2 years, 2 weeks at the Institute of Energy Studies and Research. And beyond just KPLC, we'll also be seeking to see that we also invite other players within the energy sector. As you know, the grid is an interconnected network. So what happens in Ketraco affects as well what happens in Kenya Power. So that together we can put together our efforts, all the institutions, and ensure that our grid is safe and also reliable in terms of power supply.
Good afternoon. My name is Wesley Kirich. I'm the County Business Manager for Nakuru County, KPLC. And as a County Business Manager, I manage the business within Nakuru County, including management of power infrastructure, just like the one that we are seeing all over here. Just like when we are seeing here, the line which are on big pylons, that one we call a transmission line. They supply power to bulk substations. It's coming from Lanet all the way to the sites of Naivasha, interconnected all the way up to Juja and Nairobi areas. The one that we are seeing below the other one is a distribution line serving customers within Nakuru County. But it's a major line that is having that interconnect between Nakuru and parts of Gilgil all the way to Naivasha. The line, if we can be able to say it support operations within Naivasha, there's a way it supplies all the way to Narok. So it's a major line. It's a major line which really supply quite a number of customers within Nakuru. Thank you. I can say one of the biggest challenge that we have been experiencing are issues of interruptions. The way I was telling you, this line, it really serves a very big part of the county. Yeah? So a single interruption on this line really affect a lot of customers. It not only affect customers in terms of satisfaction, but also affect us in terms of sales. So what we are doing today is addressing one of the big challenges that we have been having, where we have got wild animals, including birds, patching on these lines, occasioning power interruptions. So the interventions that we have had today, the one that we can witness on the line here, and the ones over there, and the one that were installed on the other side, all of them are just meant to reduce incidences of power interruptions occasioned by the wildlife, including the birds which are within this conservancy. I can say for Kenya Power, first and foremost, is that before we undertake any power project, we carry out what is called environmental impact assessment of the project that we are doing on the environment. And bringing it home here, we can see the lines that we can see here. All these lines, before they were installed here, we carried out environmental impact assessment. But now, later on, we realized after implementation and the lines being established, we realized the challenges here were more than, were much more. That's why we are coming back here as a team to be, when we came back here, because of the challenges that were coming over here, we had to look for a solution. One of them includes the installation of the equipment that we have seen on the line, so that we can be able to reduce incidences of electrocution of wild animals within the park here. Besides that one, on a bigger scope, Kenya Power is participating in other programs which are aimed at conserving the environment, under which we throw most of our key resource, that is for power generation. Among them is like the project that we are doing here, special equipments on the power line to prevent electrocution of birds. Secondly, we are also participating in tree planting programs, where we have participated in tree planting in Mau, Mount Kenya, in other areas, to ensure that we, as much as we do the power business, we can be able to do in an environmentally sustainable way, so that we can be able to, as we do this, we preserve the environment for future posterity.
Okay. My name is John Guda. I'm an engineer by profession. I used to work with Kenya Power, where I worked for 18 years before becoming a consultant in the energy sector. I used to be the manager in charge of safety and environment. I also worked as regional manager, so I understand what goes on in Kenya Power so well. Before that, I worked with Magadi Soda for close to 15 years. Okay. What we are doing here is one, protection of the wildlife, and two, trying to make the utility more reliable and eliminating outages caused by interaction with the wildlife. What normally happens, and research has it all over the world, and Kenya is not excluded, 25% of non-routine downtimes are caused by utility interaction with the wildlife. And when we started this study, we started it with the Peregrine Fund. We did research, see where it is vulnerable, and we narrowed down to conservancies, and this is just one of the conservancies. We have quite a number, and we have data on where animals or wildlife have been interacting with the power lines in Kenya, and the data shows that 25% of non-routine outages are because of wildlife interaction. So we sought for solutions, and cadres enterprises UA, they provide solutions to sort of managing or eliminating these interactions. Cadas is a US-based company, and they make these covers and bad guards in the US. They're based in the US, and they work with 17. They work in 17 countries worldwide, but they are not yet in Kenya. So Cadas was invited to come to Kenya and see what's happening in Kenya by the Peregrine Fund, and we ended up picking Soisambu as one of the areas to do the pilot project. So we came and trained the staff of Kenya Power, and we did some pilot projects, putting line covers on some of the lines here, and they're wonderful. Those poles where we put the covers, there's been no fatality at all. So what has happened is that Cadas and Kenya Power are talking and say, why don't we have a partnership agreement so that we can roll out this thing, because this downtime is too much. And the number of birds dying is also a lot. You know, wildlife here in Kenya is a tourism. Kenya is a tourism sort of based country. So we also need to conserve those. So Cadas and Kenya Power agreed to sign a 5-year partnership agreement, whereby Cadas will be providing solutions to protect wildlife, and also in that space of protecting, reduce animal-based outages. When we started the project, and while running workshops for Kenya Power staff, we realized that the awareness is a bit low. The awareness of coexisting of the power lines and the wildlife is a bit low. So we went ahead and developed a curriculum. That curriculum is domiciled at the Institute of Energy Studies and Research, Kenya Power. So we'll be running that curriculum for all the engineers in Kenya Power and the other stakeholders and utility companies in Kenya. 1, to create awareness. 2, to find solutions, so that when you do the environmental impact assessment and find that where you're doing the project, there are wildlife, even birds, you may need to design that line separately. You don't go with a normal way of designing. So the curriculum, 1, is to create awareness among the engineers in Kenya Power, and 2, to give them some options of designing better lines, so that the power lines can coexist with the wildlife. So that curriculum is there, and we are hoping to launch it in the month of June. The Peregrine Fund is like a research organization. They do research where there's these vulnerabilities, where the wildlife is facing some challenges. Maybe they are killed from one because of one reason or the other. So one of the things we're doing, we're working with other stakeholders like AWS. We ran a lot of workshops. And when we came to Soisambu, we tried to install some of these products from Cadas, and we did install 4 poles. That was in August last year, and it has worked wonderfully well. There's been no fatalities. So from there, because Cadas is the solution provider, and Peregrine is sort of a research organization, they continue doing research all over the world. So they identify where we have challenges and solutions can be sought. So their job remains as a research organization. So they're still going on doing some research in other areas. When solutions are sought, that is when people like Cadas come in. No, to the best of my knowledge, this sort of technology, it has been there, it has been existing. You go to the US, you go to Asia, you cannot put a power line that probably will kill a bird. Not even raptor, just a bird. So, but in Africa, we have not embraced this technology. And I think we are starting in Kenya with Kenya Power. It also shows that Kenya Power management team is taking environmental conservation and environmental and sustainable operations very, very seriously. So that's why they agreed to sign a partnership with CADAS to start here. I'm aware from CADAS headquarters that there have been calls here and there from other African countries, and some of them may be coming to Kenya to see what we are doing here. So it's good that you have started with Kenya, and it's going to be a showcase to other countries in Africa.
A living heritage worth protecting. That is what our planet is. And particularly, we have it because someone or some people chose to safeguard it or did not destroy it to a point where it was uninhabitable. And we also have the same resolve, we also have the same goal and the duty to ensure that we safeguard this planet, particularly in each and every element, bettering it for not only us, but also generations that come after us. We've come to the end of yet another Earth Check episode right here on KUTV. Be sure to chime in on the social media handles, of course, with me, Emmanuel Kutosi, as we journey into the next episode next week. Be sure to catch us right here on KUTV. From the Earth Check team, see you, goodbye, and be sure to take care of the environment.